Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We have a few people that are going to be sharing their incredible and powerful transformation stories. One of them being me. So I'm just going to go ahead and kick this off. My name is Michelle Rose, and I actually feel like I have been on a chronic health journey, to be totally honest with you, because I've always really cared about my health. It's always been something that's been very important to me. I remember being a little kid and I was that kid that like packed her lunch for school and I would have like my little applesauce packets and my carrot sticks and I wanted the whole I do you all remember the food pyramid that was like nowadays we laugh at it, but I was like the food pyramid. I got to have my carbs and my protein and the veggies and the fruit. Like I lived by that dang food pyramid because I thought if I ate the food pyramid, I was healthy, right? And so I lived the health life. I also lived the athlete life. I have been an athlete essentially my entire life, always involved in sports, avid runner. And so this has literally just been my focus is being healthy, being active, being fit, all of that. But the caveat behind all of that is I wasn't healthy. It's crazy talk because everyone on the outside thought that I was the healthiest, fittest person to exist, but I wasn't. Inside, I felt like a fraud because inside I felt like I was kind of dying. So even in my younger days, like in middle school, I would have migraines to the point where I would vomit. I had allergies, I had asthma, and my asthma was like sports induced and allergy induced. So being an athlete, that's really fun, especially when you're a runner and you live in the Pacific Northwest and, spring track. What? That was a great time. So, and I was always the one that got sick. My sister never got sick. I was always like the sick kid and didn't make any sense because I'm healthy. And then puberty hit and this lovely thing called cystic acne started appearing on my skin. And puberty itself is enough for any person to be like, whoo, bae, right? Doesn't help that you have volcanoes on your face all of a sudden and talk about self-conscious, all the things. So this is where a huge part of my health story begins because my parents did what most parents do and took me to a dermatologist. Dermatologist gave me a few medications, sent me on my merry way. As long as I used said medications, my cystic acne would essentially stay at bay. So I thought we're good. Until a few years later, I all of a sudden start having some very severe, very scary bowel movements, which went to the doctor again, got diagnosed with something that had no clue, you guys. I had no clue what I was about to be diagnosed with or had no clue what was going on. They just said I didn't have cancer and I was like, "Hail Mary, I'm fine." They gave me some drugs, I started using them, everything seemed to be fine after that. Fast forward a couple years later, I started getting really sick again. Went back to the doctor and found out that little thing that I was diagnosed with was not just some little thing. It was actually an autoimmune disorder. So I just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And it got to the point where me getting off the couch or getting out of bed was a lot. I spent a lot of my days strapped to the couch, exhausted, miserable, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of the things. I just was done. I was a brand new mom living a nightmare when I had always dreamt of being a mom. I was like, I am made to be a mom. I cannot wait to be a mom. And here I was, a girl mom too. You guys, I always knew I was going to be a girl mom. I was stoked. I was a girl mom. She was perfect. She was beautiful. And I was miserable. And this wasn't just postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. It was all the things. I had already been dealing with depression, anxiety in my life. I was in a horrific autoimmune flare. So my digestion, like I legit, the bed and the couch, my heating pad lived on those with me on my stomach because I was in so much pain. I would be bloated from not eating anything or drinking water. I would get bloated. And we're not talking just like a little pooch. We're talking like cramping, bloating. I have not been able to stand up. I've been in so much pain. And the digestion symptoms that I'm experiencing, if you Googled them, you think I was dying. Like literally, I'm dying from cancer. Don't Dr. Google what Michelle has been through. Don't do it. So that really truly was my rock bottom. And I said, there's a one way to go from here. I started learning about gut health. I started learning about blood sugar regulation, and I jumped all in with products that actually did it and did it in a simple, holistic way. I had been using supplements my entire life, and I had never ever felt a difference using any supplement, any vitamin, any probiotic, anything. Never felt a difference. But the caveat also is half of the meds that I was on, and I will tell you, at one point I was on over 10 medications. Only half of them actually did I feel a difference. My asthma medications weren't doing me anything. My allergy medications were barely making me live. Like they were just taking the edge off. I still had horrific allergies. My digestion meds weren't doing anything. The only thing that like my skin was better with the meds, but my skin was also being destroyed by the meds. So this is not me recommending everyone do it. I threw my meds away and I said, I'm done. I want to do this the right way. So I found products that I actually felt a difference with for the first time in my life. I really honed in on my diet. I started doing non-toxic living, and literally everything in my life has changed. Fast forward 8 years later, I have never felt better. I have never been more confident in who I am. I have never actually been able to thrive like I am now. And it has been everything for me and my family and all these people here because I found something that worked and I said, "Hey, this is amazing. You guys should check it out." And look at the ripple effect. It's amazing. It's so, so good. So that's a snippet from me. I'm going to turn it over to Beverly, beautiful Beverly. She's going to share her story.
Hi, I'm Beverly, and I had gastric bypass surgery in 2010. Um, did it save my life? Yes. I had a surgeon tell me I literally had 2 years left to live. I had everything you could possibly imagine from sleep apnea, totally obese. At my highest, I'm not joking, ladies, I weighed 398. I have been able to keep 62% of that weight off, which is pretty much a miracle for gastric bypass patients. It really is. But I can tell you, it didn't cure everything. I still had problems with sleep. I still had horrible vitamin problems. Um, I still had arthritis. I still had fibromyalgia. Then one day, this beautiful lady came to my house after I'd had a horrible bout of COVID that had literally wiped my memory from me. I didn't know who anyone is anymore. I lost half my speech. I'm still trying to get that back. And she introduced me to Plexus. And I started taking Ease and I started drinking that lovely pink drink that we love so much. And slowly but surely, I noticed changes. I noticed a lot of changes. I noticed I started sleeping. I noticed I was more alert. I noticed I just started feeling better, but different, not the way I felt before I got COVID, better. I'm like, I'm not hurting anymore because I hurt so bad. I had horrible arthritis. I have osteoporosis, severe osteoporosis. I wasn't given the right vitamins after I had my surgery. And unfortunately, that's what happened to me. Total malnutrition, total breakdown of my body. And I got to tell you, it has been hard to get where I'm at today. And I am still a work in progress, but I am absolutely 100% sure that Plexus is saving my life. And I got to tell you, stick with it. Even if that little voice in your head says, I don't know, maybe I should try something else, don't do it. I got off of it because I thought I'd test myself. Big mistake. That Ease is amazing. And what it did for my body, I can't even begin to tell you. I had an accident after I had COVID, and I had a horrible fall, and it set me back. And I went in and I saw a doctor. They did x-rays and everything. They said, wow, your knees are shot. And I says, well, what about, getting my knees replaced? Well, you're not a good candidate for that because you have osteoporosis too bad, but you're bone on bone. I fell again. Christmas, literally 3-4 months later, I fell again. And I kept taking my E's, and I kept taking my E's, and I kept drinking my pink drink, and I started taking other Plexus vitamins, which are amazing, by the way. And I was feeling better, but I went in because I thought, I better go in just to make sure things are okay in there. The doctor had me run some more tests, and he comes in the room and he has this really perplexed look on his face. And he says, well, this is your x-rays and your tests from before, and this is them now. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he says, well, you see this thing right here? That's your cartilage. You didn't have any here. And now this one, you have cartilage. I was like, what? He goes, your cartilage has grown back. I'm 54 years old. I don't know if any of you know anything about medical anything, but that doesn't usually happen. And I owe that to my plexus. So don't give up, ladies and gentlemen, don't give up. It's so worth it to just keep going. Keep going. And that is my favorite thing. I'm a huge fan of Nemo, and I feel like I'm Dory. I just keep swimming. I just keep swimming. And I'm not going to give up. Don't give up. Thank you.
Oh my God, I love the analogy so much. I love that movie. I think we all quote that movie all the time. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Beverly. All right, Heidi, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so I'm Heidi, and I think I started Plexus, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, if I remember right. Joy can probably tell you better. So I initially started, I've always taken supplements my whole adult life, and tried all kinds of different vitamins, different probiotics, different drinks, all those things. And none of them seemed to really make a difference for me, but I kept taking them thinking, okay, well, you're supposed to take vitamins as an adult and it keeps you healthy. And I'm getting older and it's important that I take my vitamins. So I kept taking them, kept taking them. I turned 45 last year and ended up going through quite a year of medical stuff that I wasn't really used to. I've been a pretty healthy person most of my life, overweight, and tried dieting multiple times, but pretty healthy. Other than that, worked out, ate fine, all of that, just struggles with weight as we all do. And I ended up, going to the doctor, trying to get blood work done, trying to find out, what's going on with my body. Why do I feel different? What's happening? I just feel like I don't feel good. I'm tired all the time. And I do have sleep apnea. So I was, doing all the things I should for that. I'm one of those people that doesn't fall asleep easily. So I was taking melatonin, trying all different kinds of melatonin. And I just wasn't feeling good. And so I ended up finally being diagnosed after years and years and years, since I was 19, with endometriosis and adenomyosis. And it was affecting my life greatly as I got older. I did have a baby late in life. I had a baby at 39. And after that pregnancy, my body just didn't come back very well. So I ended up having a full hysterectomy in November. And after that, I just could not get my body back. I just felt like I was going to have this hysterectomy and everything was going to be great and I was going to feel amazing. And it was the answer to all of my problems. And my body was just going to come back and it was just going to be an amazing come back. So it didn't happen. And I ended up coming back with a ton of intestinal digestive problems after my hysterectomy. And I was like not expecting that at all. I was like, what does this have connected? Like, there's no connection to this. How is this even, a thing? And so I kept going back to the doctor and saying, what's going on? She kept saying, your body's just trying to readjust. Everything's moving. Everything's getting a new place. All of those things are happening. I just wasn't feeling good. So Joy and I have been friends for a really long time, and I've been watching all of her testimonies and her talking about Plexus, and I decided I'm going to try this because I'm desperate at this point. I was feeling terrible all the time, wasn't sleeping. I was majorly constipated all the time, no matter what I did. So she introduced me to it. We started, I also have a lot of, like I said, lots of medical things going on last year, but some really bad back issues happening. So tons of inflammation in my body, all those things. So had a really great conversation with Joy and decided to try, the products. And it literally within the first week, I felt like just a different person. I felt like in the beginning, I was like, this is really hard. My body's struggling. The first few days, I definitely had like the effects of like shedding and not feeling well because I had so much going on in my body, and it was working. And so after about the first week, it was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm not bloated. Just like Michelle was sharing, I could drink water and be bloated. I could like do nothing and be bloated. It was just all the time. I just felt bloated and not well. I was going to the bathroom regularly. I just felt so much better. I felt like I could eat and I didn't have stomach aches. There was just so much of a difference in my life. And over time now, I've started, multiple different products with Plexus since then with the ease. I started heavy with the ease, and I feel like it definitely does make a difference. I've run out before and had to wait like a week for it to come in and been like, wow, this is definitely doing something, because I'm like, where's my ease? Where's my ease? Is it here yet? Totally reduced my taking ibuprofen every day of my life. Yeah, I think the biggest things that I'm noticing now coming into it and being into it far enough now that I feel like I am really comfortable with the products and know the products really well. I cannot say enough good things about it. I cannot say enough good things about the even just the sleep, the melatonin. I have slept better than I have in years, being able to take that as a more of a natural melatonin rather than the type you buy at the store and the type you get all over the place. It's just made a humongous difference for me in my sleep, how I feel every day, just how my body operates. I'm not getting sick as often. I've noticed when I got COVID last year for the second time. And with this second round of it, because I was on the products, I went through it really, really fast. I didn't have like a long amount of time with it. I felt like it definitely helped me recover because I had been taking them and I continued to take them throughout COVID. I was done within days with feeling terrible. So I definitely think that it's a life-changing thing. And it was really hard for me to believe in the beginning because I'd never actually had something work. Something actually works. And I've, never liked taking pills and tons of vitamins every day, but I'm like every morning I have zero issues, like load my hand up, take all my pills in the morning. They don't hurt my stomach. I don't feel sick from them. It's life-changing. So thank you, Joy, for changing my life.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Heidi. For both of you guys sharing, it's powerful to hear other people's stories. I think not only does it build belief in what we have here, but it also builds belief in the fact of that could happen for me. like that what if. And it also shows us these are three completely different stories, right? It shows us that it can help the masses, and someone's going to relate to various different stories, that pieces of our stories. Someone might relate to part of my story, but not all of it, because we're all different people. Someone might, and then they also might relate to part of Beverly's story, not all of it, but parts of it. And same with Heidi's. You just, you never know how it's going to impact someone. And that's why I love having these calls and sharing truly the story behind it, because the story is your life. That's the power that happens right there. So I just want to thank you guys so much for being here, for being open and being vulnerable. For anyone that is listening in, I really want to challenge you to have an open heart. And I'm all for faith. Pray on the whole idea of what if. What if you could be on a call like this in a couple months sharing a testimony like this? Heidi has not been on the products for that long. It's only a handful of months for her. I'm 8 years, so that's, there's a lot there. A lot to unpack there. I kept it real short for you guys. But I don't ever want to live without them, because I, for the first and only time in my life, found something that works. And when you find something that works and it changes your life, you never want to live without it. So reach back out to the person after you've said that prayer and God says you need this, because that's what he's going to tell you. Reach back out to the person that invited you and start that conversation, and keep that open heart and that open mind. Thank you guys.